Welcome to the Housing Podcast. I'm your host, Tim McDANIEL, and I'm so excited. Today, man, we're talking about some affordable housing developments. Where my investors at? Where my real estate developers at? This podcast is for you. So I'm just going to be kind of talking through kind of like my mindset, how I go about even exploring a real estate development opportunity. That's not my primary thing, but we getting more and more involved in these types of deals. So we want to share this because in our housing business owners course, we have a module specifically about how you, as a new real estate developer or already developer, how you can take your business to the next level. Okay, so we're here to kind of go through a couple of tips, right? Mindset strategies, and then also I'm going to call a couple of people where there are some active deals, so you can just kind of get an idea of what are the things that we discuss to figure out whether or not a deal is a deal, right? Because the last thing you want to do as someone doing real estate developing or affordable housing development projects is to spin your wheels, right? We don't want to spin our wheels. What we want to do is make progress, right? Because the name of the game on these projects here is do it as fast, with as quality, with as much heart as possible. But speed very much matters in these development projects. Most of these projects, especially in California, does top over $1 million. So you will hear a lot of big numbers. If you're not in California, don't get intimidated. Same process for where you're at. You know, if you're in a more affordable area, that's great, right? You'll take these same discussions, right, and just use your numbers. So yeah, I'll let you meet a couple of our partners on the housing business owners via over the phone because, we just pretty much got to talk over a deal. So without getting too much in the deal, right, let me first just kind of start off with the mindset, right? So when I'm thinking about getting involved in a real estate project, right? I used to be in the hustle mode when I first got started, right? In these types of deals where you bring me a deal, I'm interested. Hold on just a second. Hello, hey Dr. Robinson. What's up? Oh, okay, I'm busy. I'm in the studio right now. All right. All right. So, so we go call a few people, but in terms of mindset, right? Here, let's just get straight to talking to some people real quick. Hey Nakia, how you doing? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Is Nakia there? Can you hear her? Where should she be? Hold on. I put it on the Roadcast Pro too. Nakia, can you hear me? I can hear you, but I was trying to get you on my earphones. Hold on just a sec. Can you hear me now? I can't hear her. All right, so yeah, like I was saying, I'm pretty much in the studio now, but I just said, you know what? I can use this opportunity for some content. So let's discuss that deal you have. If that's all right with you. Yep. Well, just tell me this. Tell me this. Um, it's an off market deal, right? But tell me what you looking for. You looking for a real estate developer? Okay, is the seller like not being reasonable with the value, or is it like that's what it's worth?
because I have kids I have to pick up. Like, you understand all of that. So, but yeah, I mean, as far as like this deal in particular, they want a little bit too much. That's the issue for a developer. It would not make sense. Now, if they came down on their price, which we're trying to get them to come down on the price, then it would make sense. But we just have to see.
Would they be willing to do a joint venture?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay, well, if it's too pricey, that's the only option for us is to do a joint venture, so we don't have to pay so much, and and then they can capitalize off of the, the increased value that we bring to their site.
But I doubt that they'd be willing to do that.
Why? They need some money now.
Huh?
They want some money now and run.
They just want to be done. They just want to be done with it because they have way too many other projects going on. That's the thing.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I want to work this deal, but I mean, if you're already telling me that they're not going to give us a fair market price.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Because I just talked to my sister right now because we've had people look at it.
Yeah.
Had some developers, like buyers, look at it and stuff, and they like the space, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, it's the price.
And you said the price is $12 million.
Like 11.5 to 12.
All right. Well. Most of okay, and we got to do permit changes. All right. Well, okay, so we'll revisit it. I think the main thing I need from you is to know whether or not he's into the joint venture options where, yeah, I mean, we could take it off his hands, so to speak, but in terms of like what he wants up front will have to be held out until we can maximize that value and do a refinance or something like that, because if he wants $12 million, that leaves not a lot of money for development if it's already over market price.
Right.
Okay, well, just let me know. Like I said, I was about to call my people right after this call, but I don't know what to tell them. Like I wish
that they would be down for that other one in downtown LA, but that one they want like 50 mil. Like, and if that's not what they can spend, then there's really just no point in even explaining it.
Okay, but 15 million. I mean, are we getting? Because we do price by doors, right? So average price by door is about 200,000.
50 million, 50, not 15.
50. Oh yeah, you talking about that crazy one, the brick building? Ain't that historical building?
No, not that one. No, it's else in downtown LA.
Okay, well, like I said, I'm about to talk to some folks, so I don't know if I'm going to be talking about your deal or some other deal.
I mean, so again, that one, it's 50 million. It's 3 parcels in downtown LA, and there's really no set price right now. It's just they have cash offers. They say around the $50 million range. The sellers were in escrow before for like $100 million, but like I don't want this stuff streaming to like. If you're doing something that's streaming online, this information, I don't want this information online.
Well, let's not talk about it. I mean, I'm mainly trying to figure out what deals can I bring my team together.
Yeah, I don't. So like this deal, especially, like I don't want this circulating everywhere. But like if you're talking to some of your developers on the phone, I definitely don't mind. It's 50 million. I can send you a breakdown of it. I can email it to you.
Okay. Well, just send me some, because like I said, I don't really got much to work with right now.
Yeah. Can you text me your email?
Yeah.
Okay. And then just ask them not to like daisy chain. I hate when people do that. Like share this with everybody.
Yeah, no, I don't share addresses. I like to talk about terms, because if the terms don't make sense, nobody cares where it's at. So that's one of the first mindset things that I like to think about is like, is the terms make sense? Because if it doesn't, then, maybe we can just talk about a different deal.
Here, I'm about to send it to you right now.
All right, well, I'm going to let you go. I'll let that, I'll wait for it.
Okay, sounds good, Tim. All right, bye.
All right, peace. So that was kind of a good scenario of just like a lot of real estate deals. Most of them are kept close, to the chest. A lot of these are off market deals. They're not looking to, kind of advertise it, so to speak, only because a lot of times the agent, is pretty much first come, first serve. So the seller isn't trying to do no exclusive arrangement for, an agent that's trying to sell their property to a developer or trying to find an investor. Right. So a lot of times if you're somebody that's looking for a development project, just know that, it's kind of first come, first serve, right? So that's why I talk about, having a time sensitive mindset when you're putting these deals together. So one of the things that I like to focus on first is reviewing terms. Now, some of the terms that we like to review is, okay, so what is, well, before the terms, right? What is the type of property it is, right? For us, we like to do housing, so residential developments, right? Every once in a while, we're open to mixed use, meaning that there's a commercial space and residential included, right? At the end of the day, we want to know what is the type of the unit, right? There's several different zoning codes, and I'm not going to bore you with any zoning codes, right? But depending on the zone, maybe we want to look at seeing if we can change the zone to maximize, that site to the highest and best use. So anytime somebody say highest and best use, that's pretty much mean them analyzing what can they do to make that property at its highest value, right? So that's one of the first things that we review. We want to analyze, okay, are we able to actually maximize this site to where it makes sense for us to invest, right? Because we're looking at the cash over cash, right? So I know she's mentioned like they want all this money for the site, but maybe if we can come in with an arrangement where we're not putting so much cash up front, and then at the end of the day, once we establish that higher market value, we have a little more cash to use. It's all about making sure we have the cash to finish the deal. The last thing you want to do is get into a deal and not have enough money to finish it, right? I've seen some scenarios like that, and it's not fun because, like I mentioned, these are very high price deals. You kind of heard a couple of numbers out there: 50 million, 12 million, right? But don't let the numbers intimidate you, right? We like to analyze the numbers, and so like I was mentioning to my colleague, one thing we want to do is, okay, what's the criteria for the investor or developer that we're working with? Every developer, every investor have different criterias, right? So there's two types of investors that I typically work with when it comes to these affordable housing developments. One type of person or one type of institution are private developers. Okay, so these are people that own their own, maybe they're contractors, so they're licensed general contractors, and they have their own ability to build the unit, to buy the unit, right? So that's one type, right? And then the second type are institutional um, investors, right? Like CDFIs, right? Partnering with CDFIs, like out depending on where you're at, right? There's tons of funding. If you're unaware about CDFIs, I'm actually going to pull it up so I can tell you the exact meaning of that. So CDFI, that stands for, hold on, Community Development Financial Institutions. Okay, so a CDFI stands for Community Development Financial Institutions, and CDFIs are pretty amazing. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but what I'll do is I'll call one of our colleagues and we'll talk a little about CDFIs. Oh, perfect! It's actually working. So, disclaimer: advisor.
What's up?
Hi, Doc.
Talk to me.
Okay, so I'm pretty much having this conversation right now on the podcast, and yeah, sorry I wasn't able to like let you know I want to bring you on today, but we talked about this a few times, so I just want to like maybe just like briefly discuss the CDFI thing because I have a couple of properties. I have two off markets. One off market is in Inglewood, so it's not in the city of LA. And there's some opportunity there, so I don't know if because it's in a different city that we can't necessarily utilize the CDFI approach that you were talking about. And then the other one, it is in the city of LA, but the only reason I don't like it is because it's a $50 million asset, even though it's worth a lot, right? It's just but I kind of want to start with the small one, that $11 million one off market, in Inglewood, the agent, they pretty much got an exclusive agreement with the seller. Um, well, not exclusive, but they have an agreement with the seller, and they're looking for developers. So they reached out to me. They know I know developers, but to be honest, I wasn't too interested in trying to like get involved. But I'm like, let me hit up Doc and see if this is something that's worth looking into.
The quick answer is yes.
Okay. Now, what do you need from?
Basically, it doesn't matter whether it's uh, LA City or let's pick a city, Redondo Beach or Inglewood, uh, anywhere in Southern California. Actually, anywhere in Ventura County. Uh, this is part of business. This is what we can do.
Okay.
And if it benefits the community, it still benefits the community.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're interested in. Uh, and the same community, like you're part of this community. Uh, that's the purpose that we want to serve. That is what CDFI will serve, and we can do this with a CDFI. Uh, but when it gets into double digits, like we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
meaning 11 million, 20 million, uh, uh, basically, that's not. That's more conventional. When I say
Mm-hmm.
conventional, meaning that's a HUD kind of thing.
Okay.
That's a Greystone kind of thing.
Okay.
That's different lending. A lot of people run to do an SBA thing because it seems very conservative. You get 20% insurance on a bad loan. So a lot of banks will go talk about SBA because that reduces their risk and that reduces the chances of having their capital net worth ratios decline. And that's a big risk that no banks want to do. That's why the CDFI is important because that takes that capital risk away from a bank. But from our point of view, we're equipped to do either. So it's doable. And Inglewood may turn out to be something that's very workable
Okay.
because it's got a certain market.
Okay. Well, the good news is that we kind of got some okays from the councilman who's over that district. Very close relationship, and the mayor is kind of for helping with the zoning things. I'm just like, I got to have a team, man. Doc, I'm really busy, but I want to take this opportunity for you to share about your CEO Institute and kind of what you're doing to help facilitate these different deals, like you're doing for me.
Thank you very much. Basically, the CEO Institute is set up to educate and promote and be involved in economic, how do we want to call it? Economic learning and viability for the communities that have been left out and for the people within that communities that have been left out. We're talking about education from a point of view of business training, licensing, putting you in a position to participate in the economic community, like be involved with lending, real lending, to be involved in real estate, to be involved in education in terms of teaching, certification, or nursing. These are things that we are going to teach. We're also going to supply through the CDFI funding and scholarships and small loans for the people that want to start up new small businesses to take advantage of the growth that is occurring in California. Everybody talks about people leaving California, but based upon the most recent marketing studies, California has been, from a point of view of the nation, doing twice as much small business lending as anywhere else in the country. In the
Wow.
South, 4% growth. In the Midwest, where they're talking about new factories, it's been 4% growth. And in California, it's 9% growth.
Wow.
And the difference is California is the fifth largest
Economy.
economic country
Mm.
ranked in the world. There's opportunity, there's welcomeness, and this is something to be taken advantage of. And this is what we're trying to accomplish, because the biggest things that have occurred have been what actually the Democratic Party's been able to accomplish in terms of bringing jobs back, creating infrastructure situations.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that.
And it's something that should be taken advantage of. And in our situation, there's two ways to do it. You can do this on a small scale, but do a lot of it on a small scale, or you can try and do it on a large scale. I mean, when you talk about Englewood, you had Stan Kroenke. He came in and he changed Englewood because he built a stadium. And with that, all the business that came in didn't necessarily help small members of the community. But you can still do that now.
Mm-hmm.
There are people like us that are looking to do that.
Right.
So from my point of view, we'd love to talk to you about that.
Well, I
Because
would
that's
definitely
what
want to
we're here to
invite.
do.
Yeah, I'm definitely like I'm ready now to like start inviting our community members. Like we kind of already started, really rolling out our housing business owners membership group, and I mean it's getting busier than I expected in terms of them actually bringing deals to the group. And you kind of know I've kind of been busy on different stuff that I'm looking at, but I want to make sure I don't forget. I got a whole team, I got Doc and stuff like this. So I'll send you this information about the one that I was telling you about. And yeah, I just want to invite, people if that's okay with you. And I don't know maybe the best capacity to do it, but members of our housing business owners community to have, I don't know the best way for them to have access to you other than if they're working on a deal, then we can make that introduction.
Well, I think maybe we ought to take some time to figure out the best way. That may be the best way, but then they need to understand what they got to bring to the table as far as what the deal looks like, so that we know how to act.
That part.
It's the kind of education we've spent, you and I, a couple of years now
Yeah.
in putting together.
Yeah.
Because part of it is you need to understand the more that everybody goes out and saying one guy shopped it, now they're going to go shop it to 6 other people. And that's when you lose the doers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, we've been there across those roads. So I'm excited to be able to kind of like now have and like I said, we'll get together again, but have kind of like what we expect from the people that do want to, have access. Because like you said, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of deals kind of going on. And now they're kind of like, they're coming faster. And so I'm like, okay, it's time to press play on, making sure we can have a strategic way that people can access these different resources. And so
no, I agree with you. I'm getting very frustrated too, because the opportunities are out here and a lot of people are wondering, they don't know how to get started. So I think this is an important conversation.
Mm-hmm. All right, Doc. Well, hey, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna be back in touch. I'm finishing up here, and I got a few things, but I'll be available. I know you're East Coast time, but maybe can you just leave some parting words in terms of just like if somebody is interested in being a part of affordable housing developments, or if they want to, do like a real estate development project, like what should they know before getting started, or if they never done it before?
They need to understand and feel comfortable and trust who they're talking to, because not everybody seems to understand that part of getting something done is having the knowledge of the people, feeling you're confident that they know what they're doing and that you can trust them. Because if you start shopping, then what happens is, as you've experienced, you're so busy going from place to place to place, the people that can do it end up saying, well, we're going to be shopped. They lose interest because now they lose the sense of we're being used.
Yeah.
We're not being asked. So part of it is understanding who you're talking to and having trust. And trust is not easily given, but it's got to be earned. So it works two ways. And that's always been the history, but it's important.
Well, Doc, thanks again for sharing your nuggets. It's always nuggets when we speak, and I'll be in touch. I know, and I'm actually about to call Doug because yeah, that one thing that I was working on. So I just want to kind of follow up because I did send him kind of what he asked for, and I don't know if it was the right paperwork, but I haven't spoke with him since I emailed it to him.
Well, I'll tell you what. I will also mention it to him.
Okay.
Okay. Because I know how busy he's been the last few days.
Okay.
And we're also working on something. And I'll have him. When did you send it?
I sent it last week.
Okay. Let me go have a conversation because he's had a few issues.
Okay.
On his own. But I will double check with him, and I'll have him see if he can get back to you between now and Monday.
Okay, sounds great.
Always good to talk to you. Let's keep in touch like this. I appreciate it.
All right, for sure. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, y'all just met one of the gurus, man, in this thing. I mean, Dr. Lawrence, he used to own a bank, back in the 80s. Used to own Pitney and Bowes. Well, not own it, but CEO. And just a wealth of knowledge. And I'm glad he mentioned, the fact that this is about trust. I know a lot of people, they're in the hustle mode. They're like, I got a deal. I got to make this happen. I got to make this money. But it can't be about that. If it is about that, then it tends to sometimes it sabotages deals. I've seen it more often than I like to see. So I've kind of settled myself in a place where, I got a small circle of people that I deal with, mainly because we have established that trust with each other. They know what to expect from me. I know what to expect from them. And so, whether or not the deal is good or not, we still have that level of understanding, like, hey, when a deal comes, like, we know what to expect from each other. So yeah, you may not find the right deal up front when you're putting together your team. But at the end of the day, I want you to know that trust that you're building and investing in and really also earning, right? You have to earn it too. And the way you earn it is by doing what you say you're going to do. So say if you're on the seller side, right? And then you're looking for a developer, you're looking for partners to do a deal, right? If somebody if somebody like myself or my partners come in and they ask you, okay, like how much does he want? And you tell me one price, and then they end up offering it or dropping the price, or end up not being the price, right? You lose credibility. Or say maybe like you say you've established certain permit options for that site that you're able to do these certain things. But if it's not concrete, like if we don't have that ability, the main thing is, just don't make promises you can't keep. Okay. So we'll keep it at that. All right. So we're gonna skip Doug because he's busy right now, but just to kind of like share a little bit about Doug. He's a lender, one of the very few SBA certified lenders in the nation, right? There's very few of them. And so the fact that, the housing business owners community, we have access, to direct SBA lenders, meaning that you have access to these 504 loans and all these different SBA loans that allow you, as, Doc mentioned, to be able to participate, in these deals where maybe you don't have the private funding in place or the conventional financing in place. That's where, these SBA lenders, these also CDFIs, right? If they're under a certain dollar amount, depending on your community, most of the times you're limited to how much they can invest in a project. Like if you're out here in LA, I typically see nothing more over $5 million, right? As far as partnering with the CDFI, right? But there's tons of resources, and even on the federal level, there's grants, there's a lot of different things that you can layer to make your deal a reality, right? So, how can I end this? I guess without getting too deep into any of the deals, because as you can see, most of these deals are very sensitive in nature. um I just want to, I guess, end by saying, like, hey, if you have a project that you're interested in developing into affordable housing, right? Or if you're someone that want to get into real estate development in order to create, affordable housing, right? Reach out to us, right? Our email is at members@housingbusinessowners.com, right? Not only do we have investors and contractors, we have lenders, we have other people that would be willing to joint venture partner with you, meaning, that's another layer of private funding for you. We have people that are educators, like, we have people with institutes in which, you can learn what you need to learn. So then that way you can take it, and create, your team in your area. Because at the end of the day, once you learn what you need to learn, that's the value that you bring, right, to these different deals. Some people, they bring, labor deals, right? Labor assets in terms of them having cheap labor or affordable labor. And we have access to that as well, right? We work a lot with even Section 3 workers. So if you're in a space where you have to work with unions and you got to deal with Section 3 workers, right? We have strategies to maximize how to do that in a way where, hey, you can actually get layered financing to help cover some of those expenses for those those contractors. And so, hey, man, we're your one-stop shop for housing. We appreciate you for joining us again at the Housing Podcast, and I'm your host, Tim McDANIEL. Till next time.
Head of my household, and the world is so cold. As soon as I step out, I hear the trumpets blow. They like ba bum bum bum. We all kind of devious. I cruise the town right around back to previous old ways. My lady kicked me out. It's okay. After 2 spots, I'm flavor. I'll see you later, babe. Touche, that Tuesday we made up. The whole scene was makeup, and my role was major. I wake up cause my phone starts ringing. Some call me like heroes, baby. We crazy in a beautiful way. She trades business on eBay. What a day,
Shout out to South Bay Podcast Recording Studio. Let's go.
Write a script that's hard, depending on the facts. I might stay, might shake after a few days off. Come back, let the steam cool off, then break off.